I believe that in the last few years, there is an overemphasis on print quantities and pop reports. This episode covers this and much, much more. You ready? Then let's do it. Hello and welcome, rookie card collecting friends. Victor, the rookie card specialist, coming at you. And here, it's all about the rookie card. We look at the past and present day status of the rookie card, all in an effort to better understand this hobby icon. Well, speaking of past and present, something has been gnawing at me all week, and I just couldn't find the words to articulate it. It's the stark differences between a traditional collector and a modern day collector. At first, it was easy for me to just pop off and accuse today's hobbyists that it's all about the money. But if I'm being honest, money has played into the equation for years now. Money has been the terms investing and all of this and flipping and is a concept that really we see was around in the 1990s, early 1990s. And the way I see it, a traditional view was more that of a person who put collecting first, who put prioritized sports cards first and monetary values second. Now, yes, we sold cards. Yes, we sold our dupes, or we sold cards, unwanted cards that really didn't fit into our collection. Today, making money seems to be the primary reason why people get into sports cards. It's one of those things where collecting is maybe secondary, and I stress the word maybe secondary because there are some in the hobby today that will openly admit that they do not collect cards, that they only buy for the purposes of selling and flipping for the ultimate purpose of earning a full-time income. And here's my thing on the whole thing. I don't seek to cast judgment. I'm seeking to understand. But I am of the opinion that traditional collecting is the actual heartbeat of the hobby. Collecting sports cards connects people to their childhood, to a certain player, or to a memorable moment in sports. For many in the hobby, you see, it all boils down to the word nostalgia. Now, the word nostalgia defined means a sentimental longing for the past, typically for a moment in time or a place with happy associations. Like that one evening when Reggie Jackson hit 3 home runs in Game 6 of the World Series against the Los Angeles Dodgers. My mom and dad were on the couch and I was on the floor, and we were intently watching this game. And we were so excited when Reggie Jackson hit the first 2. And when Reggie Jackson stepped up to the plate for his next at bat, my parents were kind of wagering whether he was going to hit another home run or not. And it was like, my mom was like, he is. And my dad was like, no way. And they were kind of going back and forth like that. And I remember sitting on the floor in front of the TV, just watching this game with my eyeballs this big. And wouldn't you know it, he hit the 3rd home run of the game. And my parents, they jumped up from the couch. We're all running around the house screaming in unbelief that this man hit his 3rd home run in a World Series game. And it was one of the most memorable moments in my childhood. And it's things like that now. When you ask me the meaning of my 1969 Topps Reggie Jackson rookie card and what that means to me. You see, it's that type of thing. When we connect the sport and the player and the hobby and we merge them all, it creates nostalgia. Or how about those Saturday afternoons when my friends and I in the neighborhood, once I would get done with my chores, we would go and we would ride our bikes to the local Walgreens in an effort to find 1985 Topps packs. And we would purchase as much as we could. We would head back to my friend's house. We would sit out on the front porch and just open packs, chew bubble gum, and trade and collect sports cards. And we would make the afternoon of that type of activity. And those are memorable moments that are ingrained into my psyche that I will take to the grave with me. Those are special moments within the hobby. And that is what I'm talking about when I say nostalgia. And that's how come I say I don't care how many print runs were done in 1980. I don't care. They could have printed 80 million. I don't care. Why? Because there's a sentimental value to the entire equation. Now, you might be saying, yeah, but listen here, old timer, it's not that way anymore. Today, it's all about the money. Show me the money. I hear you. I hear you. But look at him. Here's the thing we have to realize that those who refuse to learn from history are doomed to repeat it. There was a day, and it wasn't all that long ago, when it was all about the money. I'm talking about the years between 2000 and 2004. You see, there was a new trend in the hobby, and it was autographed rookie cards. And it was one of them things where it evolved very quickly into rookie patch autographs, serial numbered. And it was all the rage. And then we had phenomenal players like Tom Brady in 2000, Albert Pujols and Ichiro Suzuki in 2001. We had LeBron James in 2003. And the hobby went crazy with these players. Manufacturers were printing all kinds of product. Anything that they can create and drum up and come up with, they created it, manufactured it, packaged it, and sold it. It was crazy times, to say the least. Prices of boxes and prices of singles were just going up and up and up and up, much like we see today. These prices went into the 4 and 5 figures. Packs and boxes were going into the thousands, and the prices were out of reach for the majority of collectors. Eventually, many collectors were priced out and squeezed out, myself included. Discouraged, I remember leaving the hobby in 2004, and my primary reason for leaving the hobby was the hobby is turning into a hobby for millionaires. The working Joe with a small monthly budget for sports cards lost interest. And the result was a mass exodus of collectors that started around 2004. With it went card values. And since the card values went down, those deep pocket flippers and investors, well, they lost interest too. And today's current trends suggest to me anyways, that we are doomed to repeat this same thing if we don't learn from it. We have to learn to pivot here and not fall into the same traps that we did back then. What's going to derail this train? The overemphasis on print quantities and population reports. This data-driven approach can sometimes overshadow the traditional reasons for collecting in the first place. For example, let's take a look at the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. rookie card. Current pop reports show that this card has been graded 107,527 times. Now, let's take a look at the sales for the last 30 days. What data is showing me anyways, is that this card in the last 30 days has sold 1,181 times. That's an average of about 39 times a day. Now, how can something that has a pop report of 107,000 and how many other hundreds of thousands that are not even graded? There's rumors out there that they're still printing the 1989 Upper Deck Ken Griffey Jr. Now, why is it then, if there are so many in population, why is it that this card is still selling 39 times a day? Let's take another example of a more modern day player. Let's take a look at the ever popular 2023 Panini Prism rookie card of Victor Wembanyama, card number 136. Current pop reports for this one shows that it's been graded 28,634 times. Now let's look at the sales. Now, mind you, this is for the base rookie card, folks. You know, the one that is allegedly garbage. But let's look at how many times that this card has sold in the last 30 days. According to my research, this card has sold, give or take now, 3,111 times in the last 30 days. That's an average of about 100 times a day. And I know that the flipper and the investor types are losing their minds as to why is it that this card is selling so much. I'll tell you why. Collectors don't care about pop reports. Collectors don't care about print quantities. So here's my point in all this. Today, we look at the value through the lens of scarcity and condition rather than the player's significance or the card's historical context. This has the potential to become a recipe for disaster. And here's my reality that I want to share with you. I don't care how many of those cards they print. I don't care how many sit in pop reports. That is not why I collect. I want to collect Victor Wembanyama. I want to collect Victor Wembanyama because I believe he's going to be a significant player. Go look for Tom Brady, Albert Pujols, LeBron James. Go look for their base rookie cards and go see what those are going for. I think you're going to be shocked, regardless of pop reports. Go look at the ones with the highest pop report, and then go look at how much they're selling for today. Go ahead and list one, and let's see how long it takes for it to sell. You see, my point is that I believe that the true value long-term is going to be on the player's significance to the game. It's going to be how many memorable moments did that athlete give to us? That's what's going to determine the true value. Man, I almost forgot. Allow me to take a little swig of water. And as I do, I want you to check out this little plug on my book. Hold on one second. Hey guys, so real quick, allow me to do a little plug. I recently wrote this book, True Rookie Cards, a systematic approach that filters through the fluff so you'll know which rookie cards to get. And I wanted you guys to know a couple of things. Number one, it is available on Amazon right now. In the show notes of this video, you can find the Amazon link. So I wrote this book. I made it short and sweet, made it very impactful. I got right to the point and just gave it to you straight up. From the feedback that I have been getting and some of the reviews that I have been getting, it's a book that is written in a way that it's hard to put down. The story of the rookie card is an amazing story, and you're going to find it very entertaining, to say the least. So be sure to pick up your copy of True Rookie Cards and help support me and this channel. As always, thank you for your time. Now let's get back to the video. You see, it all boils down to player performance. In other words, how many memorable moments, #nostalgia, did this athlete produce for us? This ultimately dictates the true value, despite what the pop reports say. What difference does it make? Like the Ken Griffey Jr., there's 107,000 graded. But what difference does it make if on a daily basis, there's 100 people shopping for one? I just think that the impact of money in the hobby has its pros and cons. And let's look at that real quickly. The pros are that there's increased visibility and interest in the hobby. And that leads to more opportunities for everyone to profit. And that's great if that's what it's all about. The cons are the potential alienation of casual collectors. Also, market speculation that leads to market bubbles. And the overshadowing of the hobby's nostalgic factor only leads to dissatisfaction and a lack of purpose in our collecting. I think what we need to do is find a healthy balance. So with all that said, I think the logical question is, how do we find and maintain a balance between the financial aspects and the traditional collecting values? How do we merge or bring together these two worlds? There's 4 things that I came up with, and maybe you can come up with more. But the first thing that we can do is focus on cards that have a personal significance, not just monetary value. You see, let it be both. What are the cards that have personal significance to you? I have cards in my PC that have very little monetary value, but they have a lot of nostalgic factors. Collecting should involve a love for the game and the stories behind the cards. If you read the story of the Ken Griffey Jr. and how he became card number one, and the whole story of Upper Deck, the startup company coming in and producing that set. That story is just phenomenal. And it has an amazing story behind it. That should also be a part of the historical context of the sports card hobby. A love for the game should be an automatic duh. Why are we purchasing cards on a sport that we don't really like, that we don't really know anything about? And that's watch the games. I give a friend of the channel named Ed Weskergriff. You can check him out on YouTube, but I give him a lot of credit because he's the one who taught me this principle, because he's been on YouTube for about 13 years and he's been preaching and teaching this concept for many, many years. And that is, watch the games. If you watch the games, you're going to learn. If you watch the games, you're going to know which cards to get. If you watch the games, you're going to learn about the hobby. And so this should be a very important part of the equation. Next thing that we can do, let's celebrate both high-end cards and more common cards that have sentimental value. There's this trend happening today where we just devalue the lower end cards even lower than what they already are. And we kind of like flip our noses up in the air to lower end cards. And we're wanting to sell everything off, to consolidate, to get something bigger. And that's cool. You can do that if you want to. But I'm saying is, for the purposes of respecting all sides of the hobby, let's celebrate, appreciate the high end, but also the low end. Because a large majority of the hobby cannot afford the high end. We can only afford the low end. And when we look down on them and we raise our noses to the air, it brings about this arrogance about us. You want to make it all about population reports? You want to make it all about monetary value? You want scarcity? Then stay in your lane. They make product for every class. It's if that's the case, stick to national treasures, stick to flawless, stick to tier one or a product like Transcendent, product that is made for that type of collector. Why are you wanting to come over here to Panini Prism and to Select and to other lower end brands, and you're trying to make $1 out of 15 cents on the low end? If you want all of them high end features, stick to the high end, stay in your lane. Another thing that we can do to find a healthy balance in all of this is to educate ourselves on the history of sports cards, not just market trends, not just pop reports. And you know what's a sad state of affairs today? That if I make a video about my collection and why I collect a certain player, or why my most recent pickups of something, those videos do horrible. But if I make a video on investing on true rookie cards of so-and-so, those videos take off to the moon. And that's just currently where we're at. And it's a shame. It's leading to a dangerous place. I give credit to Neo Cards and Comics, who here recently in the last few days, he made a video about his collection. And he even mentioned, he says, I know this video is going to do horrible. When I do these types of videos, they do absolutely horrible. He says, but I don't care. I'm going to take a break from my usual news videos, and I'm going to do a video on my pickups. I give him a lot of credit for that. But I mean, that's the madness behind all of this. There's so much more to this than that, you guys. We have to find the nostalgia, and then I believe you will. I believe there's just novice collectors or returning collectors that are coming back that you probably haven't been in it long enough to where you have developed nostalgia. If you only came into the hobby 2 or 3 years ago, you're just in a maybe you're not in the mode yet to develop any nostalgia, but you may, several years down the road, you might remember, hey, 2022 was awesome for these reasons. This card is awesome for this reason. And if we take the time to listen, to really listen to the hobby generals of the hobby, we're going to learn a lot. For example, Rob Barris, he's been talking about this sort of thing for a few years now, and he comes up with daily videos on Instagram. I highly recommend that you watch those. Follow him on Instagram because he comes out almost daily content. But he shares his concerns as a man who's been in the hobby for 40 years, and his father was in the hobby 20, 30 years before that. This man has 70 years of experience, and he's saying something similar to what I'm saying here. His concerns are that the hobby is too focused on money. His concerns are that we're going to ruin the hobby if we don't get our minds off of this gambling aspect. Those words carry a lot of weight with me, only because I'm listening to a man with experience. But not only that, I can attest to what he's saying because I too seen it in the years of between 2000 and 2004. I seen the hobby take a turn for the worse when all we were focused on was money. My hope for the future is that we can learn to appreciate all aspects of the hobby. I feel sometimes, myself included, and I'm kind of a guy. I'm like my range is cards $500 and under. I cannot play around in 4-figure cards. I wish I could. I strive to someday, but right now I can't. So my price range is between $0 and $500. But can I tell you that even with the $500 range, I feel like sometimes I feel alienated. I feel like a small player. I feel like a small fish in a very big pond. And that's concerning. Well, listen, that's going to be it for this one. Please share your thoughts or your experience down in the comments below. Tell me if what I'm saying has any validity to it. You guys, a lot of times I basically just give things a lot of thought. I listen a lot. And then whatever inspires me, that's what I like to talk about or bring to the table to you. I don't have any surefire way. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is 100% accurate. All I'm sharing with you is my heart. With that said, please consider subscribing if this is something you take interest in. If you like my approach to the hobby, or you like my takes, or you like the topic of the rookie card, consider subscribing. At the very least, smash that thumbs up button for me. And as I like to end it around here, I like to remind you, my friends, that not all rookie cards are created equal.
The true Jordan rookie from 1985.
Bullshit.
Until next time, buenos nachos, muchachos.